You have to try this simple but elegant, cozy and creamy butternut squash soup. It uses 5 main ingredients and is filled with antioxidants like vitamin C, vitamin E, and beta-carotene that slow down inflammation and reduce the risk of chronic diseases. Hey, I'm Marianne, and welcome to Wellness This Way, where we give you the tools you need to lead a healthier lifestyle. For this recipe, you'll need a few pieces of equipment. You will need a minimum of 2 baking sheets, parchment paper for the baking sheets, a Dutch oven or a large soup pot, a large spoon, a knife for chopping veggies, and an immersion blender or a high-powered blender. For this cozy and creamy butternut squash soup, you're going to need a few ingredients, and here they are. You're going to need 3 pounds of roasted butternut squash, which I'll explain how to make that in a minute. You'll need 2 tablespoons of butter, olive oil, or avocado oil, depending on your choice. You'll need 1½ cups of chopped yellow onion, a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, an 1/8 teaspoon of black pepper, and an 1/8 teaspoon of cinnamon, and I use Ceylon cinnamon. You'll also need 6 cups of vegetable or chicken stock. The key to this recipe is the roasted butternut squash. So here's how you make that. You either need to choose, first of all, if you want to use a fresh butternut squash or if you want to use frozen. If you choose fresh, then you want to make sure that you choose a butternut squash that is firm to the touch and darker in color. Then you want to cube it or cut it in cubes. Otherwise, if you use the frozen, it's already cubed, and you want to place those cubed butternut squash pieces on your baking sheets that are lined with parchment paper. You'll add your ghee or your avocado oil or olive oil to your butternut squash, and then sprinkle it with some salt and some pepper. Roast it at 400 degrees for 30 minutes. After 30 minutes, you can turn the butternut squash slightly and then cook it for another 5-10 minutes. Once you've roasted your butternut squash, you can now assemble your ingredients to make your soup. So to begin, you're going to soften your aromatics. So you'll take your butter and you'll put it in your stock pot or in your Dutch oven. Then you'll add your onions. And you can add an additional salt and pepper if you'd like. Next, you'll add your butternut squash that's been roasted and your cinnamon. And you want to have this cook for a few minutes until the cinnamon is fragrant. After you've added the cinnamon and the butternut squash, that should take about 2 minutes. Then you could add your liquid, and that could either be chicken or vegetable stock. And you'll need 6 cups. After you've added your liquid, you're going to want to have it simmer for a couple of minutes. And once it's simmered, you can add an immersion blender or a high-speed blender. I personally prefer the high-speed blender because it makes it much more smoother and creamier. This soup is now ready to eat right from the blender. You can now add either coconut cream, coconut milk, or even heavy cream to this soup to just dress it up a little bit. You could also add some toasted pumpkin seeds to the top for just a little bit of crunch. But even if you don't add any of those things, the soup is great on its own. Enjoy it. It's so good, and it's so good for you. Hey, so if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like our video and subscribe to our channel. And if you want notifications for future uploads, hit that bell icon. See you next time.